is Madam 81. I'm coming to you yet again with another one about Baltimore Mayor Catherine Pugh. Seems that she's gotten herself into a little bit of trouble for $500,000 that was given to her. She is a publisher of her own book called Healthy Hollies and several other business ventures. And this acting mayor, she didn't recuse herself from a couple of projects that was in contracts that was approved by the Board of Estimates. This has been going on for a couple of weeks. I've been collecting data and news information, in the clips that you're going to see. Basically, it's a pattern and a series of what I would deem as corruption at the city level. And it just seems to me, in my opinion, that everybody's trying to save their own ass, so to speak. So pretty much Baltimore has had a history of mayors, a line of mayors who have had scandal. It's not any different from any other state, but just different ways of doing it. I'll just say it like that. And I would love to hear y'all opinion on it. Leave a comment as always. Thank you to everyone that has subscribed, to all my new subscribers, to all my old subscribers. It is greatly appreciated. So again, leave a comment. Tell me what y'all think. And I'll get back to y'all with the next one. Until then, here comes the clips.
Leave of absence. It is the latest development in the controversy surrounding her role on the UMMS board and the sale of books she wrote relating to children's health. Hello, everybody. I'm Mary Bubala.
And I'm Rick Ritter. City Council President Jack Young is now in line to take over as mayor for now.
And WJZ has live team coverage from City Hall tonight. We begin with Paul Gessler with the breaking details on this for us. Paul?
Well, Mary and Rick, this statement came from the mayor at 4:31 p.m. About a half hour ago, released a statement that reads, in part, Mayor Pugh will, quote, be taking an indefinite leave of absence to recuperate from her illness. Pneumonia she was diagnosed with, we say, so she is citing her health. But we have to point out in all this comes after three big developments today. First, in order that we learn from them, we've learned that the buyer of Mayor Pugh's books, another one including UMMS, is Kaiser Permanente, a health insurance provider for the city. Then, State Comptroller Peter Franchot called on the mayor to resign this afternoon, and now we're learning as well that the governor has asked the state prosecutor's office to open an investigation. Mayor Pugh is stepping down Monday night, citing her health, a temporary leave of absence, she calls it, making Council President Jack Young the interim mayor. Another twist in Mayor Pugh's Healthy Holly business deals. This time, Kaiser Permanente, the city's health insurance provider, told WJZ it paid $114,000 to Pugh for 20,000 copies of her children's book. They tell us they made multiple purchases between 2015 and 2018. In 2017, the mayor's first year in office, she and the Board of Estimates approved a $48 million contract with the health group to provide insurance plans for city employees. Monday afternoon, a request from the governor to the state prosecutor to open a criminal investigation, and Democratic State Comptroller Peter Franchot called on the mayor to resign.
It's really becoming a drubbing right now, and it has to wear on her, and I think the best thing for her and the city and the state is for her to resign, and I think we'll just let it stand at that.
It hurts us very much that we are in this mode.
Meanwhile, the CEO of the mayor's other six-figure client, the University of Maryland Medical System, spoke with us today. Its board just hired an audit firm to review its business dealings and practices. Last month, news broke the mayor, a board member herself until 2 weeks ago, sold the system $500,000 worth of books. Its CEO today spoke in general terms, calling the business deals missteps, but said the board did not engage itself in any crimes.
I have not witnessed any criminal activity if there's something out there, it would be a shock to me.
John Ashworth did not answer how a six-figure deal got approved without a contract, as was apparently the case between the then Senator, now Mayor Pugh, and the medical system. All that is part of the audit with no deadline in place.
Where did we not do things the way we should have been doing? Where is it that we can improve things so that it doesn't happen again?
Questions for an independent audit to answer. Concerns over the mayor's dealings with Kaiser Permanente, however, are already drawing calls for her to resign. Back live now here at City Hall. The audit of the University of Maryland Medical System and its board specifically begins tomorrow, we are told. Meanwhile, the big headline here at City Hall, Mayor Pugh will be stepping down, a temporary leave of absence, she calls it, in about 7 hours, taking it into effect just after midnight tonight. Council President Jack Young will be taking over as de facto mayor. He called this ordeal traumatizing. Reading from his statement here off my phone, he hoped to be a, quote, stabilizing force for the city. I've had a chance to talk to a few other council members as well. Councilwoman Shannon Sneed, right before this news of the mayor taking a leave of absence, says she thinks the state prosecutor opening an investigation would be a good thing for the city and to learn more about what went down with the mayor's business dealings with her books. For now, we are reporting live from outside City Hall. Paul Gessler for WBAL.
In this situation, to persuade the mayor to bring her house up to code, to date, housing officials say that hasn't happened. The second floor deck on Mayor Catherine Pugh's Ashburton house is clearly a new addition, and that, according to city inspectors, is the problem. The house is in what's known as a local historic district. That means any renovation must meet certain guidelines to maintain a neighborhood's character. But in March of 2017, a citation was issued against the contractor, citing violations of working without all necessary permits. 20 windows had been changed, a porch had been altered, and that deck had been added, all without authorization of the commission that oversees historic preservation, known as CHEC. The housing commissioner, Michael Braverman, got involved when the citation wasn't abated. Braverman is an appointee of Mayor Pugh. He provided an internal memo spelling out what needed to be done to the house to comply with historic guidelines. A housing spokesperson says Braverman spoke to the mayor personally about it. But to date, the citation remains open. The fine and penalty now total $2,500. The mayor is said to be working with their attorney to correct the violations.
At what point are we...
Pugh may also be afoul of the city's ethics code. In September 2017, as a member of the Board of Estimates, she voted on a $48 million contract for Kaiser Permanente to be one of the insurers for city employees. At that time, Pugh's LLC was getting paid by Kaiser for her children's books. The city's ethics code bars elected officials from voting on matters that involve any business that is a party to a contract with a public servant, if the contract could reasonably be expected to result in a conflict between the private interests of the public servant and the public servant's official city duties. Meeting minutes show Pugh did not recuse herself from the Kaiser Permanente vote. City Council member Ryan Dorsey tonight is asking the city's Inspector General to investigate the awarding of the Kaiser contract by the Board of Estimates. Meantime, the state prosecutor will not confirm or deny whether the office is investigating Catherine Pugh. Again, word of that comes from Pugh's lawyer. The statement that was issued a short time ago about the leave of absence makes no mention of the intense controversy surrounding the mayor and her book deals, and that did take new turns today. First, the statement. Mayor Catherine Pugh has been battling pneumonia for the past few weeks, the statement says. She's been advised by her physicians that she needs to take time to recover and focus on her health at this time. With the mayor's health deteriorating, the statement says, she feels as though she is unable to fulfill her obligations as mayor. To that end, Mayor Pugh will be taking indefinite leave of absence to recuperate from this serious illness. In her absence, Council President Jack Young takes over day-to-day operations. He issued a statement on camera a short time ago.
I understand how traumatizing this has been for all of the people of Baltimore. I take my responsibility seriously and look forward to serving as a stabilizing force.
Earlier this afternoon, Governor Larry Hogan called on the state prosecutor to begin an investigation of the mayor's book deal with the University of Maryland Medical System. Hogan said in a letter, these are deeply disturbing allegations I am particularly concerned about the UMMS sale because it has significant continuing ties with the state and receives very substantial public funding. Hogan said in that letter to the state prosecutor he did not want to interfere with any investigation. Meantime, today, other companies that did business with the city confirmed that they supported the purchase of children's books written by the mayor. Kaiser Permanente is one of the providers for health coverage for city employees. In September of 2017, its $48 million contract was approved by the Board of Estimates. Mayor Catherine Pugh sits on the board. Now we've learned Kaiser had been buying Healthy Holly children's books from Pugh's LLC from 2015 to 2018. In a statement, the health plan said, since 2015, Kaiser Permanente has purchased and distributed Healthy Holly, among other books, to families and children throughout Maryland, Virginia, and the District of Columbia. The statement goes on, we have purchased and distributed about 20,000 Healthy Holly books at a cost of approximately $114,000. The minutes of the September 2017 Board of Estimates meeting do not indicate Pugh recused herself from the vote on the Kaiser contract. In a news conference last week, Pugh provided details of her $500,000 book deal with the University of Maryland Medical System. 58,000 of those books, she said, were shipped to city schools. She did not disclose any other book transactions. Care First, another health insurance provider for the city, said it has funded the indirect purchase of Pugh's books. A spokesman said Care First donated $14,500 to Associated Black Charities to support the purchase of Healthy Holly books in 2011 and 2014. The spokesman said in 2017, Care First declined to make the donation. It does not appear that the city's ethics forms require Pugh to disclose the source of the income to her LLC. When we asked the mayor's press office whether she was going to disclose all of the book deals she has, we referred to the mayor's lawyer. The state prosecutor's office had no comment on the governor's letter calling for an investigative public accounting. Pugh is under investigation by the state prosecutor. Now, the city's inspector general is asking for information related to other city elected officials.
The inspector general asked for boards and commissions that we are all on, not just me, and we gave all of information. Matter of fact, I think I gave up more information than she needed.
The inspector general would not comment. The acting mayor offered no detail on the reason for the request.
To what extent was the housing authority or any other city official involved in selecting the contractor for the five contractors for the development?
At the weekly Board of Estimates meeting, there was a new level of questioning of those seeking the city's money. On the agenda, a proposed project to build affordable housing on a vacant lot in East Baltimore. The acting mayor called on the development team to explain the project and the need for a $1.5 million loan from the city.
Was there any influence on things elected legally and who you think? That's the first time I'm meeting you.
No, there was no influence, there was no discussion of any elected leaders.
The project includes a politically connected contractor who does business with the city. The loan was approved.
I want to be open and transparent. You're going to see a lot of other things come on now.
And Jane, also today that we're learning there's new information about that citation on the mayor's house. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, Ashley, that's right. We've now been told by city officials that the fines have been paid to resolve that citation. As we reported, the contractor who renovated the house was cited for not meeting building codes that are required. The house sits in an historic district in Ashburton, and inspectors said the proper permits had not been acquired. But again, the fines and penalties, according to city officials, have now been paid. They were paid last week. Reporting live tonight from City Hall, I'm Jane Miller, WBAL.
Here's the city school system's word. And today that continued, but now another statement. The city school system says it can account for 8,700 of those Healthy Holly books. They're stored in this warehouse just off Monument Street. In a new statement, school officials made a new revelation of sorts about the mayor's books, ones with slightly different titles. The statement reads, "We can confirm that we did receive a Healthy Start for Herbie in March of 2013, and Fruits Come in Colors Like the Rainbow in 2015. District writes, based on its own records retention policy, email is retained for 3 years. Correspondence and reports are typically retained for 4 years. This means that many records dated prior to 2015 have been destroyed. City school officials say they learned from staff members that some of the stored books were personally donated directly by the mayor at ribbon-cutting events. The school system writes it can't account for no more than 500 books used at those public events. The school system added that between August 2015 and today, staff members from Catherine Pugh's office have retrieved books from the warehouse on several occasions, but we have no documentation regarding dates or quantities taken. City school officials say in the meantime, they'll continue to talk to current and former school employees to try and piece all of this together. At City School System Headquarters, Tim Tooten, WBAL.
Another investigation is underway into her book deals and city contracts. And the calls for her to step down also growing today. Now the Greater Baltimore Committee's Board of Directors wants her to resign. WJZ is live at City Hall. Paul Gessler is keeping track of who's investigating what. Paul?
Hi, Mayor. Yes, in that statement today from the Greater Baltimore Committee's Board of Directors, they say Mayor Pugh, quote, no longer possesses the public trust or moral authority to lead the city. This newest investigation, announced last night, is centered on the city's Department of Ethics. The investigation, most serious and most secret to date, rests with the state prosecutor's office. Governor Hogan, April 1st, asked them to open a criminal investigation into Mayor Catherine Pugh's Healthy Holly book sales, particularly with the University of Maryland medical system. The city board hired a firm last week to review its practices after multiple cases came to light of inside deals with board members, including, but not limited to, Catherine Pugh. In that vein, the General Assembly this week passed a bill requiring mandatory audits on the medical system bidding practices moving forward. Another state review comes from the State Insurance Administration. They are reviewing deals by Care First, Kaiser, and the Maryland Auto Insurance Fund that we know of, and announced an expansion of the review last week. The city's ethics board opened an investigation last week, too, after it received a letter from Associated Black Charities outlining the 5 groups to whom it sold Healthy Holly books. The nonprofit and several other groups did direct business with the city. This week, according to City Councilman Ryan Dorsey, Baltimore City's Inspector General is investigating as well, though their stance, like the state prosecutor, is to not comment on or confirm any investigation. Their job is to probe financial deals and forward any wrongdoing to prosecutors. Acting Mayor Jack Young Thursday night ordered the Department of Audits to review the city's agreement with Associated Black Charities' management of the city's Children and Youth Fund. The nonprofit received nearly $11 million in grants. An extension with them has been put on hold until that audit ends. Lastly, Acting Mayor Jack Young's office says a review is underway from the City Law Department looking into the past 90 days of Board of Estimates contracts. At least 8 investigations or reviews, all blown open because of Mayor Pugh's Healthy Holly business deals. Back live now here at City Hall. We reached out to Mayor Pugh's spokesperson today to get first an update on her health as she is taking a leave of absence citing her health. Also, some reaction to the latest call for her resignation from the Greater Baltimore Committee's Board of Directors. So far, we have not heard back. For now, we're reporting live at City Hall. Paul Gessler for WJZ.
Resignation are getting louder, but Mayor Pugh says she will be back from her leave of absence.
The mayor is officially on leave as she recovers from pneumonia, but it comes amid a scandal involving the sale of her children's books.
And WJZ is live at City Hall right now. Paul Gessler has the letter to the embattled mayor and her response. Paul?
Well, Mary, outside of acting Mayor Jack Young, who's council president before all this happened, this letter was signed by all 14 members of Baltimore City Council, and it calls on Catherine Pugh to resign. This letter from City Council urges the mayor to resign immediately, to which Mayor Pugh replied she intends to return.
I can't walk my dog without someone coming out the door asking why hasn't the mayor resigned.
Unfortunately, it looks like she's utterly willing to drag this out as long as she sees fit.
Councilman Ryan Dorsey was the first on council to call for the mayor to resign. She's currently on leave, citing her health. But it comes amid several investigations into her business deals from a variety of places, including the state prosecutor's office, the city's Board of Ethics, the city's law department, the state insurance commissioner, and an internal audit from the University of Maryland medical system. The mayor received payments from several companies and entities for her Healthy Holly children's books, totaling at least $700,000.
The active investigation seems to be predicated on pretty clear, hard evidence of deep infractions of ethics and law and public trust.
I'm happy to talk about potholes and clean alleys and violence reduction. Instead, I'm having to talk about, the scandal on these investigations.
Council is very limited in its authority.
Council cannot remove the mayor from office, but they say they are working on an amendment to change the city charter. In the near term, however, Mayor Pugh's political capital, should she return, appears to be withering.
We cannot continue with the cloud that currently exists over Mayor Pugh.
The position that the mayor plays on the Board of Estimates when with passing contracts and making spending decisions, I think is going to be heavily scrutinized.
Councilman Dorsey, meanwhile, accuses the mayor of holding on to her office as a bargaining chip.
We should be able to expect better of you than to put your own welfare above the welfare of those you're elected to represent.
Back live now here at City Hall. Ahead at 6, hear from Brandon Scott, one of the council members behind this letter, on why he doesn't think Mayor Pugh, if she returns, could govern effectively. Reporting from City Hall, Paul Gessler.
Suspended with pay. The specific reason is not being disclosed. There are no allegations of wrongdoing.
Because they are personnel decisions, I cannot discuss that. Any questions about that, you have to talk to the city solicitor.
Gary Brown is the director of special projects. In 2017, Brown pleaded guilty to a campaign finance charge. The state prosecutor determined he used family members' bank accounts to donate $18,000 to Pugh's campaign for mayor. Afra Vance White is director of external affairs. And Poetry Deal is the city's lobbyist. All are board members of the Maryland Center for Adult Training. It helps disadvantaged and unemployed students get jobs as nurses' aides. It used to be known as the Maryland Center for Arts and Technology. The mayor is a former board member and chair of the nonprofit. She's currently listed as chair emeritus. In 2017, Mayor Pugh approved $19,800 to the nonprofit. There's no indication she recused herself.
I haven't been informed of anything to that nature.
According to a public records search, MCAT, the nonprofit, also received federal and state funding. Reporting live from City Hall, we caught up with ex officio Mayor Jack Young at a community event in West Baltimore. He explained the suspension of 2 more top aides to Catherine Pugh is necessary to keep the city moving forward.
Mayor Pugh said on 2 occasions she's coming back. So why the suspensions?
Personnel issues I cannot talk about at the advice of our citizens.
No, I understand that part, but I mean, why do it now? Why not wait till she gets
Well, I have to keep government moving. I have to make sure that, I have people in the right places so that we keep the city moving.
Pugh's chief of staff, Bruce Williams, is now on paid leave, as well as the city's top lobbyist, Karen Stokes.
You know who's going to take the place of the chief lobbyist?
I'm the chief lobbyist. I haven't made that decision yet.
Stokes serves as the mayor's chief lobbyist to the Baltimore City Council and to the Maryland General Assembly. She promotes Pugh's priorities. It is not known why Williams and Stokes are suspended, but their absence make a total of 5 Pugh aides put on paid leave in the past week. The first batch of suspensions include Director of Special Projects Gary Brown, Afra Vance White, the Director of External Affairs, and Poetry Deal, another city lobbyist. The action comes in the wake of scandal regarding Mayor Pugh's Healthy Holly children's book deals to the University of Maryland Medical System and to companies with business before the city. So you've got a number of people, top aides to Mayor Pugh. Can the city still function the way you think it should function?
The city is functioning. I'm at the helm. The city's in good hands. I keep telling y'all that. And we're moving forward.
None of those on paid leave could be reached for comment. No word yet on when Mayor Pugh will return. Reporting live from City Hall, David Collins, WBAL TV 11 News.
Controversy concerning her book deal with the University of Maryland Medical System.
Entertainment today and the questions that remain. Hello, everyone. I'm Vic Conley.
And I'm Mary Bubala.
On the same day, she was released from the hospital where she was treated for pneumonia. Mayor Catherine Pugh apologizes for her business dealings with the medical system.
And WJB is live at City Hall. Paul Gessler reports the mayor revealed documents in an attempt to answer some questions. Paul?
Well, questions Mayor she would not take during the statement here at City Hall this evening. Mayor Pugh tried to give context over how $500,000 in a deal with the University of Maryland Medical System unfolded. Mayor Catherine Pugh, hours after release from the hospital, spoke through a softened voice Thursday at City Hall.
In hindsight, the
This arrangement with the University of Medical System was a mistake.
She apologized for what she describes as a well-intentioned deal to sell the University of Maryland Medical System a series of children's books. It amounted to $500,000 over an 8-year period.
And I sincerely want to say that I apologize, that I've done something to upset the people of Baltimore.
Pugh showed several shipping receipts to city schools where UMMS told her that nearly 60,000 books would go. Notably, the mayor said this was essentially a handshake agreement with the medical system, on whose board she served before resigning last week. She also returned $100,000 to the medical system.
Let me remind you all that there was no contract, no date specific of delivery.
But city schools called the shipment of books unsolicited, and they have not found any documentation of delivery of the books or how many they received. Of the 60,000 books, city schools says they only know of 8,700 stashed away in a district warehouse. Experts say other potential legal trouble includes lack of acknowledging her business relationship with the medical system on multiple disclosure forms.
This was indeed an unintended consequence.
What was billed as a press conference turned into a show and tell of Mayor Pugh's other products to promote children's health and fitness.
Healthy Holly initiative to marry
At one point, she even laid out several baby onesies from her children's clothing line on the lectern.
Because this matter
The mayor ended her 20-minute presentation without taking any questions.
is under review, along with the arrangements of other programs in the University of Medical Systems. I have been advised that I cannot take questions.
Back live now here outside Baltimore City Hall. I asked the mayor who approached whom to consummate this deal with the University of Maryland Medical System. She was also asked if she sold books to anyone besides UMMS. She did not answer either question as she was walked out of the room by her aides. We're reporting live.